Utkarsh,
Yes.
take your seat. So you are comfortable?
Yes.
You are a mechanical engineer,
Yes.
right? From where did you do that?
So from PES Institute of Technology, Bangalore South Campus.
Okay, fine. You must have read in newspapers about the role being played by Governor of Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
Have you read?
Yes.
What is that controversy?
Sir, it is regarding the speech that governor had just like whatever the details that has been provided by the government to speak in the assembly. So he had skipped few parts on from that speech and told that that name was the Dravidian related to some Dravidian culture it was there. So he told that it should be of the government as a whole, not you cannot promote Dravidian culture here so this was the basic issue.
So, was it unconstitutional step taken by the governor?
So, as per the procedure or the rules of the assembly, so he have to follow the procedure of like whatever the speech that is provided there. So, as per that, it is a bit of harsh step. We cannot say that it is totally unconstitutional, but it is more of a harsh side that governor role has played. Like because the speech, whatever the speech has been provided, he have to follow that speech.
Why in these recent past, the governors have always been under controversy or debate? Why this is happening in India? This is my one question. The other part of the question is that suppose the position of governor is abolished. What would be the implications?
Sir, the controversy of the governor from the past, we can say from the 1960s onward, it has been on a rise. And we had seen it because, sir, the appointment process is a little bit of vague because most of the states which are like not having that party which is having the similar to that of the central government, they always tell that it is a step brotherly treatment that is given to them. And many a times we had seen that governor had given the fortnightly reports that they have to provide in much more political aspect, so that the rules or the balance should be the balance should be like a little bit of heavier. And sir, regarding that second question, so I forgot what was the second question.
I asked that if the position of governor is abolished, what would be the implications?
Sir, if the like it should not be abolished first because sir, there should be a person in the governor who should have the in the governance. The governor is having a power of seeing the working of the governance of the state, like whether it is working in an unconstitutional manner or constitutional manner. So there should be a person, but that person should be not of a political minded person, but should be a more of a democratic person who should function in a neutral manner.
So you mean to say that there should be a committee to recommend the name of a person to be appointed as governor? A collegium sort of?
So there should be some process.
Okay. What is your take on the possible clashes between personal law and constitutional law or parliamentary laws?
So more of the time we can say that personal law, like so, like constitutional law, many of the times like freedom of speech or whatever the fundamental rights we are giving, sir, different types of aspects are provided to the like there is not a proper statement defined in many of the times. For example, we can say in that the POXO Act and personal law, if in Muslim law that provides the marriage in a different manner as what is represented in POXO Act. So there are two different circumstances there. So we have to manage if a law is going to be made, then definitely we have to manage it in such a manner so that both laws should not contradict each other. So a proper discussion in assembly regarding that before the passing of the act should be there.
Okay, now one more question. There is a concept in technological aspect that is spin-off technology. Spin-off,
I'm not aware.
moving away from your primary technology. Like suppose mechanical engineering. So do you have any such technological aspect or technique which can be used in some other segments also in the society?
Sir, in the recent times, we had seen like the promotion of nanotechnology and this artificial intelligence, robotics has been in like much more like they are promoting it a lot, and we had
No,
seen
I'm
that.
not asking that. I'm asking that suppose uh, a technology used in missiles or launch vehicles, it is being used in medical science also. So, for example, carbon-carbon composite
Yes.
is being used in making the stent for angioplasty. That is what we call spin-off technology. So, do you have anything like that in mechanical engineering also?
Yes, sir. We had done one material science project on that. We had like Kevlar fiber. We had we had made a composite of Kevlar fiber, and like in that aspect, we can say that, sir, it is having multiple uses. Like for example, Kevlar fiber is using in bulletproof jackets also, and it is having much more strength, and it is lighter also, and like as compared to carbon fiber, it is having a like harder strength in the material. So definitely we can use it in like building like the sheets of the car, like where the carbon fiber is currently using. So we can use the Kevlar. It is bit costly, but we can have some few technological changes where we can reduce the cost. So it can be used in multiple purpose. For example, in military vehicles also, and even for the armor like vests that are provided to the military.
Okay, Utkarsh, you are a mechanical engineer. So tell me the recent development in automobile industry.
So the electric vehicle,
Hmm.
which is in the recent times has been a boom, and now hybrid vehicle is coming in a lot more forward for like they are having a brighter future ahead because it is having the combination of both, and even the even like recently the green hydrogen mission has been passed. So by that government is also promoting green hydrogen, and we can use this in having as a fuel for our vehicles, upcoming vehicles. Rather than electric, we can also switch for the hydrogen.
There was a news that the price of vehicles, passenger vehicles, are increasing. So can you elaborate what was the reason of that?
So semiconductor shortage.
Okay, what is semiconductor?
So semiconductor is a kind of material, a chip or circuit is there, so which is having a control command module system like that. It is having a smaller size, but it control all the electronic and mechanical functions from that. It is like a motherboard or like a processor, brain of some
Okay,
device.
and why the supply was shortage?
So because of first is the COVID crisis, and the raw material supply has been disrupted due to that, and Taiwan and China, which are having the producing of semiconductors, and due to COVID, they are not able to export that material. So there was a shortage for that.
Okay, so tell me something about the fishing as a part of agriculture. Fishing is important for Indian economy.
Yes.
So tell us about the role of fishing in Indian economy.
So fishing in the recent times, I can say, sir, it can give extra income for the farmer. Like whatever the our honorable Prime Minister had targeted, that we have to double the farmer incomes. Definitely, fishing is a part of that, and we had seen that India is one of the largest exporter of fish, even the inland fishing and even the fishing that marine fishing also. And like in Bihar only, we had seen few regions that had promoted fishing at a lot more faster pace. Like example, the Mithila region, and that is having a large scale fishing inland fishing, and in the future we can say that we can promote aquaculture and that hydroponics, in which we can use the fish as a source of nutrient, because they are whatever the excrete that they do in the water, that can be used as ammonia, that can have a help in the production of the crops like the leafy vegetables.
There was a recent agreement in WTO about the fisheries. Do you know about that?
Yes.
Okay. Name any plan or scheme of the government to develop the fisheries?
So Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana.
Okay, what is this?
Sir, it is regarding the promotion of that inland fishing, mostly in the sector where there are like those who are not in nearby coast like Bihar, UP and all these regions. So they will have like provide the seed for the production of fishing, and they will have the hatchlings, like the hatchlings that are provided to the farmers at subsidized price, and they will help in establishing their ponds. Like the subsidies will be provided to creation of ponds or the aquaculture setups that they want to have for the production of fish.
Okay. What are the hurdles for the economic development of Bihar particularly?
Sir, there are lack of raw materials, like the mineral resources are not there, which have been transferred for in Jharkhand in 2000. So we are not having large scale raw minerals for regarding the industrial development.
So do you think that separation of the states was not in the favor of Bihar?
So I think yes, sir, because of the mineral rich region that was the part of Bihar earlier.
So at present, how can we go for the more development of the Bihar?
So for more development, we have to focus mainly on agriculture sector, because sir, we are having one of the most fertile land in the country, the Indo-Gangetic plain, and most of the Bihar is having that they have the capacity to grow 3 times season, like cropping year. They can grow three crops in a year. And we had seen that sir, green revolution had not been the part of Bihar in the earlier times. So we can have the green revolution 2.0 should be promoted in Bihar. And what we had, sir, earlier we had said that fishing, so it can be promoted with that. Food processing industries can be a part of that. And then after we can say that service sector should be there for the metropolitan regions that are there in Bihar. But on a larger scale, I will focus on the food processing and the different sectors that is related to agriculture.
One last question. Do you think that literacy is also a main hurdle to develop the agriculture sector?
Yes, sir.
How?
So, like a lot of farmers are not aware of the different schemes that has been provided for them. For example, sir, in my scenario also, I have from past 2 years I am in my village preparing for my UPSC. So I had observed that people are not aware of what is the exact quantity of fertilizers they have to use. They are not aware of like the quality of seeds. Just they get the seed whatever they provided by the seed company, or like the dealer or the market person that they had provided. And sir, the thing is they are not aware about the health conditions of the soil.
So, whatever you are telling, the government is also knowing these problems.
Yes, sir.
So, how can we overcome of these problems?
So, whatever I had seen and what I thought that it would be a solution, that's like we have to change the approach. So, people have to be aware first, and because
How?
Like sir, the few people like in ward or blocks that the small sections are divided, we can have like some person who is having adequate knowledge of agriculture. They should go to have a like group discussion for that how should the approach should be there. Like
I
know,
think technology may be helpful for this.
yes, a technology will be a part of that. But sir, before the use of technology, we have to tell them like what are the advantages of technology, how to use the technology. So I think a person who should have a counseling of those farmers, like we can say, so it can be much more helpful, like because we like in digital technology, what I had seen, sir, like PM Kisan or any other scheme, they are getting the money, but they are not effectively utilizing it.
Okay, sir.
Utkarsh, you come from Nalanda,
Yes.
right? And historically, this is the region that gave Indian history the first instance of empire, okay, which almost was of pan-Indian proportion. So it has a formidable role to play historically in constituting what India today is, right? You also have geography as your optional paper. So what do you think was it in this region that catapulted this Magad area to this bit of prominence in Indian history?
So, first of all, fertile plain around it, that was more of like they can grow paddy at that time for having a large agricultural economy.
When you say at that time, what time are you referring to?
Sir, the time of Magadha, the Magad Empire, and the earlier
Time of Magad is even today.
Sir, like the Haryanaka and Shishunag dynasty, Nanda dynasty, all those.
Which period?
Sir, around 300 BC.
Little earlier,
Yes,
600 BC. Okay.
So at that time that was there, and the sir Rajgir hills. They have been like they are fortified, kind of like the three sides. The hill is surrounded. Rajgir and Nalanda is surrounded three sides from the three sides, from the hills, and there is only one point to enter it. So it had provided a fortification, natural fortification for them. And third is the nearby Kodarma region that had provided iron at that time for them to make
How
their.
critical was iron in 6th century BC?
So not in exactly in, I can say in the 6th century BC, but like more of like how the dynasties had developed. The role of iron had played the picture a greater role in that development of those people, like the empires.
Okay. So far, you have only spoken about geography. It is the geography of Magad which was so crucial in pushing it to prominent place. Do you think there were several other factors also? It could be demographic, social, ideological, religious, political.
So political was there because we can see that role of various personalities, like we had known Chanakya, that for having that
personalities apart.
Sir, social aspects, sir, because this region has been a populated one from the earlier time, like the population was more as compared to other regions. So
Why?
definitely, so because of that fertile plain only, geography is a linking factor there. Because in earlier times, sir,
What does paddy do? What does paddy cultivation do with respect to several other grains that are grown with reference to population or population carrying capacity of a particular area?
So paddy is generally grown in the region of like alluvial soil, like whether the floodplain region, and sir, getting water at that time, like it is much more easy for them. So because
I'm
paddy
asking-
requires a lot of. Yes, sir.
What I am asking is that if you grow paddy in 1 acre of land,
Okay.
and if you grow, say, wheat in 1 acre of land, which of the two crops will be able to sustain bigger population? It's a question on acreage of a particular grain.
Sir, it depends upon like what the production has been, like what are the quality of seeds or like.
ओके ऑलराइट आपने मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग भी किया है विश्वेश्वरैया यूनिवर्सिटी के किसी कॉलेज से?
Yes,
हाँ?
sir.
Who was Vishwesvaraya?
So he was a renowned engineer of that time, like 1920s, around that. He had made a few infrastructure that was quite tremendous to acknowledge. For example, KRS Dam in Mysore, Krishnarajasagar Dam. It was built by him, and he had developed
In Patna, which is your capital city of the state that you come from, there is a Vishwesvaraya building. Can you identify which particular office does it house?
So I'm not aware of that.
Okay. All right. So the score line reads égalité in lawn tennis. Which tournament am I playing? Which Grand Slam tournament I am playing?
Egalite.
Égalité.
I'm not aware.
Are you aware? Okay. The score line reads deuce.
Okay. Yes. So it is 40 all.
40 odd. Okay. So if you play French Open,
Okay.
the French translation of deuce is égalité. Égalité is the root word of egalitarian, means barabar.
Okay.
Right? So since you have mentioned this as your interest and you also have said that you play this game,
Yes, sir.
so I'm sure you must be watching French Open tournaments also.
Yes.
Roland Garros, which stadium? Which tournament? Which Grand Slam?
French Open.
Okay. All right. And then you have opted for foreign services as your second choice.
Yes.
Any particular reason for that? Generally, we have it as fourth or fifth amongst the aspirants. So,
Sir, beside like serving the society as a whole, like in administrative service, I have like passion towards working that. But I have more of kind of interest in diplomacy also. Like I want to have like I always want to have a.
are you happy with Indian position on Ukraine-Russia conflict?
Yes, sir.
What are the high points and what are the justifications offered by the EAM?
Sir, as our Prime Minister has told, that we are not in the era of war. We have to make the solution with diplomacy. Dialogue and diplomacy should be the factor. So in Ukraine-Russia war, we had always been promoting the dialogue and diplomacy part. That war is not the solution. So external affairs ministry is kind of focusing on that part only. That because we are the having
Do you
that.
think that values and ethics are dead in diplomacy, in world politics today?
No,
And
sir.
it is only the national strategic concerns and markets and affordability of critical imports that will determine our international relations? Where is statesmanship gone?
I think so. There are a lot of ethical values has been like part of that diplomacy, and it is still there. We can give the example of India only, that how its neighborhood first policy is like having a bigger role to play without any favorism that is going to happen, like whether it is having import or not, but it is having a prioritization that we have to make our neighbor much more strengthier and much more have a better role to play with us. So a kind of a family, big
Recently, a
brother.
professor, probably from Princeton or Stanford, I don't remember the university correctly, but a couple of days back, he had given an extensive interview where in his book, I presume, he has dubbed Nehruvian initial decadal policies post-independence of modern industries, big industries as the temples of Indian economy, as very poorly planned and poorly conceived. Are you aware of it?
No, sir, I not heard that statement.
Okay. I see you wearing a lot of rings and stone-studded rings.
Yes.
So, mechanical engineer, what, and these stone-studded rings. How do
Sir,
you justify this?
Sir, everyone is having faith in something. Like I believe in astrology.
Okay.
Whatever, like it's hard work is there, but you need some kind of luck and you need like how to strengthen it. So I think astrology a part of that, like I believe, and it is having more of a scientific facts also related to it.
Okay. That's all right.
So, you are interested in diplomacy. What is good diplomacy, according to you?
So where any country is having a role to play without any favorism, like they don't want favor, but they should have a role to play for the betterment of the other side of the country, like where for which they are having, like for example Sri Lanka, India had provided the loan for them, a soft loan, so that they can revive the economy. So it is a kind of a good example for good diplomacy.
Okay. And then what is citizen-centric diplomacy? After Modi, after PM Modi assume as a prime minister, and these are keywords which is going around the diplomatic corridor, the citizen-centric diplomacy. Have you heard this word, citizen-centric diplomacy? Okay. Since you are from Bihar, and Bihar is sharing border with which country?
Nepal.
Nepal. So, what are the major controversies between India and Nepal?
The recent controversy is regarding that Kala Pani issue that has been there, and the demarcation of land boundaries also a little bit of issue, though it is not in the news, but the clear demarcation is not been provided. So most of the time people are going from this side to that side or just like shifting the barriers that are provided, so that the clear picture is not being given by, like accurate picture is not there. And regarding the relation with China, the like the earlier policy of the government of Nepal was to make that link with Lhasa and Kathmandu. So this had also raised the tension between India and Nepal.
Apart from Kalapani, which are the two other area?
Lipu Lake and Limpiadhura.
Limpiadhura. So these area situated in which state of the Indian territory?
So Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand. Okay. And you have mentioned in your depth that you are interested in climate change and environment. Huh? So, what is the global south and global north debate in environment or the climate change specifically?
So global north consists of all the developed nations that has been using the carbon emissions, those who had done a lot of carbon emission from the earlier industrialization, like the industrial after the industrial revolution. For example, like USA, European Union, and all. And then the global south is those developing nations and the less developed nations, those who had been the part of developing stage in the recent times, like example India and China, and who is always contradicting the statement of not that we should have to, like they should have to provide us with the funds so that we can have, like, because whatever the impact they had provided in the earlier time, we are not having like reached that level, and we need a development in our country also.
This is a very old debate. Now I was asking about the recent debate, especially climate financing, the climate budgeting issues. So can you explain a little bit on climate financing, climate budgeting issues?
So climate financing is related to the funds that should be provided to the less developed nations or the developing nations to have the change in their technologies, so that they should not be dependent on fossil fuels only. Said they should focus on renewable energy also. And the whatever the loss, like we had seen that COP27 loss and damage fund has been approved, so that whatever loss and damage that is provided to the smaller nations, more specifically the island nations, example like Hawaii or like Fiji or Solomon Islands, these kind of nations are very much vulnerable to the climate change because of sea level rise, and they are like their existential crisis is going to be somehow can be seen in upcoming years. So definitely these kind of financing is required for the development of those countries.
Okay. And have you heard about the G20? India G20 presidency is going on. So what are the major area India has picked up for the G20 presidency?
So women empowerment they had focused.
Women-led development.
Women-led development.
Yes, that is not women.
Then second one is the finance, like how the promotion of UPI and RuPay, like how it has been the digital boost for the economy, and how other countries should accept these kind of things, like what government like India has been successful. And also, sir, the third part, the climate change also, like they are focusing on renewable energy, because India had given a successful result till now for the establishment of the target, whatever they had.
There is one thing, sorry to interrupt you. There is one thing that is life, LIFE, life style for environment is one major thing that is which is directly related to your step. So I was expecting that first, but nonetheless. Last question from your hobby, that you were captain, I think, in your school days, during your school days, hockey?
Not hockey, sir.
Hockey. You have mentioned.
I played hockey.
You played hockey. Okay, sorry. So India has a very glorious history in hockey, and these days we are not on that point, or we are not doing good. So if you'll get chance to recommend some policy related to hockey, so what will be the major point from your side?
I think, sir, Odisha is a great example that how we can promote hockey. So, like in Bihar or any other states, like overall India, we have to change the infrastructure facility first, because we are not having the infrastructure. Even I had played hockey, but we had not got to AstroTurf ground that is used for playing. We used to have the same pitch that is used by the football players, and then we will use that same ground. So by these kinds of infrastructure also, we are not promoting a good hockey like what India need to play. And second, sir, there is like lack of interest among the people, and so we should have to approach. I think, sir, one of the best things should be like how IPL or Pro Kabaddi League is being promoted, uh, like the leagues. We should also promote some kind of leagues in hockey tournament also, so that people can have a interest in that. But
So money
now,
matters, huh?
yes, sir.
Money matters. Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am.
So I'll continue with your hobby. You have mentioned climate change and environment updates. So what is the latest? Have you read about any update about climate change?
Ma'am,
Recently,
first
or-
is the national green hydrogen mission that has been approved by government, and
Inter- yeah.
yeah,
And
so, and then COP 15 that has happened in Montreal. That yeah, I'm not totally.
COP 15.
I'm little bit of like,
Internationally, what is the update?
ma'am, internationally, like that same thing that in the Montreal, that CBD COP has happened, and in that they had targeted to give the fund for the biodiversity loss to the developing nations and the other nations, so that they can reduce the loss, because it is going to be irreversible damage that is going to be happen. And regarding climate change, we can say the bomb cyclone that had recently happened. This is kind of a scenario which is not a rare in nature. Earlier it was rare in nature, but now it is going like a frequent phenomena, like how the temperature drop has been there, and the climate change issues that has been faced by the Europe.
Any update on ozone layer?
Yes, ma'am. It has been shrinking. Like now, it is like said that I actually don't remember the year, but they are telling that it will be completely covered up by that time.
So updates should be proper updates. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So what do you understand by global good?
Global good.
Tragedy of commons. Okay, climate change is a global challenge or a local challenge?
Ma'am, it is both global and local challenge.
Okay, so any climate initiative, I mean, reducing the emissions, any large scale policy initiative taken for emission reduction? Can you name that policy? It was
The
done
FAME,
at a continental
the
level.
FAME scheme that is provided by the
That is
government.
India, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about global. Any large scale continental levels, some policy initiative which was related to carbon emission, reduction of carbon
The
emissions.
carbon credit system has
Yes,
been
and
promoted.
where was it initiated?
COP 15, I guess. if I
No,
remember.
where?
Paris.
What is the, no. Carbon, okay, carbon trading, carbon credits.
Yes.
What was the name of this system?
I'm not aware of that system.
Okay. ETS you heard? ETS. You'll have to take all those notes. Do you know anything about currency integration?
Currency integration.
Okay. Gig economy?
Yes, ma'am. Gig economy is a kind of economy in which like more of a contractual worker has been promoted. For example, in Swiggy or Uber or Ola, they are promoting the
Yeah.
gig economy.
So can you visualize any impact on climate because of that? So do you understand by the term technology diffusion?
Yes, ma'am. That the merging of the technologies, like the different technologies. For example, like how we can use the artificial intelligence in biotechnology, or like in the medicine field. Like we have the diffusion of technology in that case.
Diffusion, okay. So, okay. What do you think that to initiate, I mean, to introduce a technology, what should be the way, top down or bottom up, according to you? What is the best way to introduce a technology? policy making way?
It depends upon the scenario, but most preferably it should be from the down to up model, because the development is like based on like, because the downtrodden parts are like not aware of the technologies, so we should have to introduce these kind of any technology. For example, we can say 4G, like how the price had reduced, and then
But people will reject it.
ma'am,
Why will they?
they will accept, ma'am, little like slowly they will accept, like it will take time, but the acceptance will be there,
How do you make them accept?
ma'am, by giving them a opportunity to use them. Like for example, we can say like how digital revolution has promoted like the common service center that has been provided to the rural India, and how people are now using internet for various activities like they are taking, and that like how we had given the cheapest 4G network in whole world. So this has been promoted by like now a person who is living in far beyond reach of like urban areas, they are having 4G connections and using the internet. But we have to tell them that the usage should be in a directive, like more direction. They should provide more direction to it so that they can utilize it for their betterment of the society.
Thank you, Utkarsh.
Yes.
We'll call you back. When is your interview?
Sir, it has not been scheduled yet.
थक गया होगा,
अच्छा, डेट नहीं है?
No,
थक गया होगा ना, tired.
So doing it alphabetically, hopefully. कैसे हो रहा है इंटरव्यू?
Randomization is there.
Random.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा सा आंसर, मुझे लगा कि थोड़ा सा आंसर और कंसाइज होना चाहिए, थोड़ा सा, राइट? एक आंसर थोड़ा सा ऑफेंडिंग लगा है व्हेन ही वाज आस्किंग अबाउट सेपरेशन ऑफ झारखंड फ्रॉम बिहार. यू सेड दैट इट वाज अ रॉन्ग स्टेप. ऐसे नहीं कहना चाहिए, इट वाज अ रॉन्ग स्टेप. एक दूसरा क्या है कि स्टेट्स आर नॉट ऑर्गेनाइज्ड ऑन इकोनॉमिक बेसिस.
Yes, sir.
दैट इज द मेन पॉइंट, कि जो हमने ट्राइबल एरिया को या कल्चरली या बाकी चीज़ों को लेकर किया है, कॉलिंग इट अ रॉन्ग स्टेप, तो रेजिंग ए क्वेश्चन ऑन पॉलिसी इज़ नॉट ऑलवेज एडवाइजेबल, है ना? थोड़ा सा ऑफेंडिंग हो सकता है. बाकी तो ऐसे ओवरऑल ठीक है, आई थिंक इज टू बी वरीड, लेकिन थोड़ा सा कंसाइज कर लोगे तो
Yes, sir.
इट विल बी मोर प्रिसाइज, यू विल बी मोर प्रिसाइज,
I will go through that.
है ना? दूसरा क्या है कि इंडिया नेपाल में डिमार्केशन की इशू है या बॉर्डर मैनेजमेंट की इशू है ना? चैलेंजेस उन्होंने पूछा था, तो क्रिमिनल ट्रेसपास भी है बहुत सारा,
Yes, sir. Yes.
स्मगलिंग है, क्रॉस बॉर्डर स्मगलिंग बहुत है ना? तो यू हैव टू पिन पॉइंट.
Yes, one
I have to brush up the older concepts, sir.
हाँ, जैसे काला पानी तो ठीक है, काला पानी एज ओल्ड इशू, उसमें कुछ नयापन नहीं. तो अभी क्या हो रहा है एक्चुअली बॉर्डर मैनेजमेंट?
Yes.
सर,
Utkarsh, overall you are good, but there are 2-3 specific points that I would like to mention. One, stray utterances, वो मुझे पता है कि आपके मुंह से निकल गया होगा, वैसे ही. अब जैसे बिहार की स्थिति को उसका बखान करते हुए आपने कहा कि मेट्रोपॉलिटन रीजन्स में वैसा कर देंगे. Bihar barely has metropolitan cities. Okay? When Patna does not qualify to be a metropolitan city.
I
as
would
such.
have used another some.
हाँ, तो उसके लिए बिग सिटीज और
Yes.
कैपिटल
Yes,
सिटीज
yes.
और इस तरह से ये करना, मतलब क्योंकि इन सभी चीज़ों पर ध्यान चला जाता है
Yes.
इंटरव्यूअर्स का, सो यू हैव टू अवॉइड दैट. Justification for Indian stand on Russia-Ukraine conflict should have come first. ठीक है, तुम्हारा सेकंड चॉइस है ना इंडियन फॉरेन सर्विस का, तो इट शुड हैव कम फर्स्ट. यू वर टॉकिंग अबाउट एवरी अदर थिंग, बट EM हैज़ so many times defended it on public platforms as to why India is doing this. He has taken on the EU, the United States of America arguments, and it has been blown up in the media as well.
Yes, sir.
So that should have come first. This is what the demand of the question was.
I think he was very general. That we don't believe in war and we should talk about
this
we
is
should
general.
go for diplomacy. So there is nothing new in that. कुछ
सर के क्वेश्चन पर तुमने कहा सिटीजन सेंट्रिक डिप्लोमेसी. दिस इज प्रिसाइसली व्हाट इट इज.
Yes,
सिटीजन सेंट्रिक डिप्लोमेसी, राइट?
So like I was not having clear
पार्लियामेंट
picture.
में EM ने इसी पे
इसी पर कहा है.
parliament.
That should
Yes,
should be there, coming as a very quick answer. दूसरा, given your disciplinary background, your mechanical engineering background, I found a lot of shoulds in your answer. It should be done, it should be done, it should be done. Coming from a mechanical engineer, it should be little more realistic and solution oriented. बिहार में भी खेती वगैरह की बात करते हुए, एग्री इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हुए तुमने कहा कि भाई और लोगों को बुलाना चाहिए और सीड्स
I
के
was
बारे में
trying to focus on agriculture technical part like applications वगैरह हैं develop हुए
हाँ, तो दिस इज व्हाट विल बी द एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम यू. तो ये भी करना चाहिए, वो कम्युनिकेशन ऐसे होना चाहिए. दे आर फाइन, आई मीन यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू नो ऑल दैट, बट never lose your grip on your domain area. Okay, stand tight on your domain area and then flourish outside it. Okay, so that should be the strategy, and if you adopt that strategy, you will feel more confident as well.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
right.
so that's from my side.
ठीक है. Anything else?
No, I have started question now. What is good diplomacy? The citizen-centric diplomacy and good diplomacy, the both term has been explained by EAM very recently. So, और सर ने भी कहा कि जो current issues हैं,
थोड़ा ब्रश अप कर लो, करेक्ट
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
है ना, ब्रश अप
ठीक
कर लो.
है.
बाकी ठीक है क्या ना, व्हाट ही वाज टेलिंग दैट यू नीड टू बी प्रिसाइज. प्रिसीजन आएगी ना तो वो आंसर बहुत एम्फेटिक आंसर होगा.
Especially climate change and environment.
क्या हो रहा है कि यू आर जनरलाइजिंग इट.
Generalizing it.
So since you are a person from technology, so you have to be very specific and focused. है ना. बाकी ठीक है, ऐसे डरने की वाली बात नहीं है, और क्वाइट गुड.
और टाई तुम्हारा बाहर आ गया था, वो मतलब जैकेट के बाहर टाई दिख रहा था पूरे इंटरव्यू में. यू शुड बी माइंडफुल ऑफ दिस. अभी नहीं है, लेकिन एंड देन एज यू आर सिटिंग you do it like this. Tighten your jacket, do it. हाँ, that's the way. और जब इंटरव्यू हो रहा था ना, तो your entire tie was outside your jacket. Okay, so small little thing, but
ठीक है, बाकी एवरीथिंग इज फाइन.
Sir, one question from my
हाँ,
side.
बोलो.
Knowledge is like something I have to brush up. Definitely, the time is there. Regarding the personality thing, like the way, like I should take a pause or like little bit slow from my side so that.
I think it was
that
good.
was okay.
That was okay.
You don't need to work extra hard on that.
Just we have to crisp and clear.
Yes.
थोड़ा सा आपका हाथ सिवरिंग कर रहा था, ऐसा पता नहीं
So
क्यों हो
actually,
रहा
I was having the position of like this. I am comfortable in this position.
था.
वैसे ही रहो ना.
आप लेकिन हाथ ऐसे रखे थे,
अरे
पैर
वैसे ही
yeah,
रहो ना,
sir.
जैसे कंफर्टेबल हो वैसे ही ऐसे करो.
और आप हाथ इस पे रखे थे और हाथ सिवर कर
So
रहा
many
था.
times I have told these
तुम्हें
students.
कई सजेशन मिलेंगे, जितने मॉक जाओगे सब कोई बोलेगा ऐसे रखो वैसे रखो. जस्ट
जैसे
बी
हैं
इन
वैसे.
योर स्किन.
I am much more comfortable
हाँ,
in
बस
this.
जैसे तुम्हारा कंफर्ट है वैसे रहो ना. आधा ध्यान तो हाथी पर जाएगा.
इसीलिए वो सिवरिंग हो रहा था. मैंने देखा ऐसे सिवरिंग हो रहा था, मैंने कहा
दूसरा क्या है
Because
ना
first time
कि
in this, like
देखो,
I was.
how do you answer in the interview, that is more important.
यस
Because if you know, the board will not allow you to speak for half an hour,
यस यस यस.
right? So your approach is more important.
Yes.
बहुत वर्टिकली डीप नहीं जाना है नॉलेज में, लेकिन स्पेसिफिक होना चाहिए, टू द पॉइंट होना चाहिए, प्रिसाइज, उस पर काम करना है. बाकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज तो आई थिंक इज क्वाइट गुड. ठीक,
चलो, गुड लक.
ऑल द बेस्ट.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.